Man, welcome back. Welcome back to the podcast. I am your host, M to the A, CEO, Matt Hamm. Of course, I got the Craft Man with me, Austin Craft. What's shaking?
What is going on? Talking about these RBs today.
Man, I love talking me some running backs because I know me and you both agree that running backs is the most important position. You got to go get you some running backs.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that because these wide receiver heavy teams, they're going to be looking back at the end of the year and be like, man, why didn't I get some of these running backs? And why did I grab all these receivers? Why am I in last place?
And like, we ain't saying that, receivers aren't valuable. I definitely have teams that are heavy wide receiver, but
I'm saying that.
Running backs at what you call it. If I'm looking at redraft, there's some all the running backs that I want to take are like higher up, and I feel like there's so many wide receivers in these mid rounds that I could definitely just start hopping on these wide receivers. So I want to take some of these some of these running backs here in these top couple rounds. That's how I feel about it. What you think?
I mean, there's some draft positions like later, like 6 through 12 or, 9 through 12, where it makes a little sense to take a wide receiver there, Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp. Yeah. But a perfect draft strategy for me is to try to get these running backs early and hit these wide receivers that are still very good in the middle rounds, because them running backs in them same rounds are awful. After you get past the top 3 rounds in your draft. You're really taking shots at running back then.
Yeah, and there's some we'll definitely drop a sleepers episode on some running backs, because there's definitely some that in the low rounds that I would tell people to take a shot on. But let's just go ahead and start it off. I mean, the top 2, I know we both got the same: Jonathan Taylor, CMC. Any debate to put CMC up at the top? Is there any?
The only debate I have is just like we talked about before, is how brave are you, and CMC, I've argued with a couple of my friends and actually said CMC will score more than JT if he stays healthy all year, but I'm just not doing that. I can't do it. I can't take him over JT. It's not going to be that big a difference if they both stay healthy all year. So yeah, I'm taking JT number 1 so I can have some peace of mind after the draft.
I agree. There's no doubt. To me, if you take a Christian McCaffrey over Jonathan Taylor, you should go slap yourself. I'm just being honest, because there is no – I don't care what anybody says. There is no logical reason to take Christian McCaffrey over Jonathan Taylor at this point, especially with Matt Ryan coming in. I mean, this dude could score more than last year, I think.
I think he could have just as good of a year, maybe better, based on the offense just getting better and more scoring opportunities. But if you take McCaffrey number 1, you're just going to be stressed out every single week, every single touch he gets until the season's over. And you're just going to be hoping that nothing happens. And I don't feel like I want to do that.
Jonathan Taylor had 332 rushing attempts last year, and 40 receptions last year. I mean, there is some talk about Nyheim Hines doing good in camp and preseason, but I mean, even if he is doing good, I ain't buying that he's about to be making a major cut into Jonathan Taylor's production.
No team's going to have their running back out there for 100% of snaps. So, the backups, especially pass catchers like Nyheim Hines, is going to come in and spell him a little bit and maybe play some third downs. But I don't always look at that as a bad thing. I mean, it might keep him healthy.
Yep, agreed. So Christian
what do you think?
Well, I'm with you. I mean, I think Naeem Hines might, come in and catch a few balls and stuff, but it's not enough to just scare me away from Jonathan Taylor at the 101.
No,
So Christian
definitely not. But
CMC
yeah,
at 2, we both agreed on that, and I feel like that's just more of an upside pick. Um, I seen the last 2 years he's played 10 games in the past 2 seasons, 7 last year, 3 the year before. Used to never get hurt, but now in 2019, he finished number 1. 2018 finished number 2. His rookie year finished number 10. So there's definitely an argument to have Christian. Well, look, I'll just take it back. Like, there's an argument for Christian McCaffrey to be number 1, but the reason he's number 2 is injury risk for me. So
yeah, I agree. I mean, Jonathan Taylor had 373 points last year in full PPR, and the major year that McCaffrey had, he scored 471. So
yeah,
that's almost 100 more points. I mean, the upside is like crazy with this guy, but that was 2019. It's 2022 now. So, and he's gone through a lot of injuries. So who knows if he's even still the same explosive player he was 3 years ago.
yeah. So the upside is just ridiculous, and that's even if Carolina keeps doing what they do and just feeding him the rock all the time. I imagine they will, but Christian McCaffrey at
Yeah,
2.
last year on his contract.
Yeah, yep. Got paid a lot of money too. No way they bring him back. What you think? You think they bring him back for another year or on another contract?
That's
He'll have
really hard
to
to say, man.
he'll have to
I don't
really
think
go
he's going to
off, I
be.
feel like.
Yeah, he's going to have to really go off. He'll be 20, about 26 at the end of this year. So probably only maybe 3 good years left, if that, because he's not a big guy. Um, I don't think they're going to keep him. I think he'll be somewhere else next year, probably.
So at numbers 3, 4, and 5, I've got Austin Eckler, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry. You got Eckler, Derrick Henry, and Cook. So we'll start with Eckler at number 3. I mean, powerful offense, top running back on a powerful offense. The receptions is just unreal. He's going to be out there catching the rock. I know they got brought in Isaiah Spiller, but even if Isaiah
He's
Spiller comes in, yeah, he's already hurt. I don't even think I haven't even heard any reports about him even earning that backup role. I think Joshua Kelly was still at the number 2 spot, but Austin
Yeah, I
Eckler,
saw last thing I saw was Spiller had the maybe a high ankle sprain and he's doubtful for week 1. And before the injury, I don't think he was even the backup yet. Anyway, I think it was Joshua Kelly. So it's you're rolling out the same thing you did last year with Eckler with these Larry Roundtree, Joshua Kelly running backs back
yeah.
up. So just
Mhm.
just roll with it, just like you did last year. I feel.
And last year in standard and PPR leagues, he finished number 2. Any debate for him to go in the top 2? Would you take him at 2? Any chance over at CMC?
Man, I know you think I'm crazy, but I guess I'll go CMC there just because you play to win the game.
Yeah.
And CMC, I guess I haven't had him on a team for the last 2 years, so I don't have no burns. But if you ask people who've had him the last 2 years, they're not picking CMC over Eckler.
Yeah. And I don't blame him. I know last year Austin Eckler he had 70 receptions for 647 yards, and that's most of the upside right there. I mean, he still did have 206 attempts last year.
Yeah, what's funny about them 206 attempts is he still got out carried by Derrick Henry, who had 239 in 8 games.
Yeah, which is
That's crazy.
insane. I mean, that dude was gonna have a lot of attempts last year, which is insane. Which is part of the reason why you got Derrick Henry at 4, I got him at 5. It's part of the reason why I got him at 5 is because I think if you believe that Derrick Henry is gonna be what he's always been these past few years, I would say take him at the 102 behind Jonathan Taylor. Does that sound crazy?
Man, if you believe in Derrick Henry and his foot, I don't think is a problem from last year. I think he's over that. So I wouldn't worry about that when you make the pick. What I would worry about is their offensive line. PFF has them ranked at 27th
Whew.
offensive line. And, the offense is taking hits with A.J. Brown leaving. I just think it's going to be volume related. I don't think his efficiency may go down, but he was on pace for 400 carries last year.
Yeah.
And he was averaging 24.2 points per game last year. So that was ahead of
Yeah.
JT and every running back. So I mean the
Yeah.
upside's still there. It's just what's this offense gonna look like?
Man, the upside is there. It's just what concerns me is the wear and tear. He's 28, going to be 29 this year, I guess. I mean, I don't know if he'll. I'm sure he'll turn 29 in this football season. The
It
wear.
usually takes a year to get from 28 to 29. So
Yeah,
there'll
yeah.
probably be some point.
I'm just saying
Some
he'll
point.
be. I mean, he's creeping up on 30, is what I'm saying. This dude's getting up there. The wear and tear has got to get to him eventually.
He's as
But
old as me, and I can't go out there. I wouldn't even think about it.
yeah, so I mean, Derrick Henry. I mean, here's the advice that we gonna give you. If you really think Derrick Henry is that guy, the same guy he's always been, I'm taking him over McCaffrey. But right now, I got him at 5, and you got him at 4, which ain't hating on the guy. I feel like still a top 5 running back.
Yeah, I would definitely take him over all the running backs I got listed after him because of just the upside of it. Like,
Yeah,
that's kind of obvious thing to say. I got him ranked higher, so I'm gonna take him. I'm
yeah.
gonna take him. So, but
Well, another guy we got in our top 5 we both agreed on is Dalvin Cook. I think, I got him at 4. You got him at 5. I think Dalvin Cook, to me, just gets the nod over Henry just because of his receptions. And they're going to be, I think we're going to see a little bit different Dalvin Cook this year with Kevin O'Connell coming in to Minnesota uh, from Los Angeles. And I think he's going to get a lot more catches this season. That's what I think.
yeah, he'll probably be more involved in the passing game. But the main thing with him last year, while he was such I don't know if you call it a bust, but I mean, only 6 touchdowns last year, and that's
Yeah.
nothing like Dalvin Cook in the past. So in the 2 years, prior, he had 17 touchdowns and 13 touchdowns. So I
Yeah.
think he's going to jump back up to that range, which will definitely help his fantasy output.
Yeah, last year in standard and PPR leagues, he finished at 16th, which was definitely a drop off from 2019. He finished 6th, and then 2020 he finished 2nd.
Yeah, and he he had 45 red zone rushing attempts last year. So something just wasn't going right. He just wasn't getting in the end zone. So, that's stat to back up. It wasn't just me saying that he's going to score more touchdowns. He had the opportunities last year. He had 2 more opportunities than James Conner last year, who scored
Man,
14 touchdowns. But he
he's
just
a,
didn't get in the end zone. So it's going to come up from 6.
man, he's ass, man. I got burnt with the Dalvin Cook. I was getting
Dude,
burnt with
James
him last
Conner.
year. Nah, nah,
Dude,
nah.
James Conner's ass.
What?
Oh, I agree
Nah,
with
nah,
James
nah.
Conner's ass.
Nah. Well, yeah, I ain't got. I'm not really too. I mean, I'm kind of high on James Conner, but back to Cook though. He last year I was definitely getting burnt by Cook in a dynasty league. I traded Dalvin Cook for DeAndre Swift and a first round pick. Shout out to Will.
Daggone. Who
Shout
gave you that?
shout out to Will Savage, man, with that trade rate.
I need I need to I need to find Will on my league and start offering some trades because that shit right there.
He
I
sent that
mean,
to
I
me.
do that. Oh, he sent it to you.
He sent it to
I say
me.
you ain't even got to go out there and try. You just sit back and wait for Will to do something stupid. I guess, huh?
Hey, while I'm sitting here roasting on my guy Will Savage, man, during this past offseason, I just traded Antonio Gibson for CD.
Okay.
Oh Lord, man, Lordy, Lordy. But anyways, back to ADP has Derrick Henry going third from the running back standpoint. Eckler going fourth, Dalvin Cook going fifth. So we got it a little bit different. Wouldn't hate on you for taking Derrick Henry at the third, to be honest with you, but you know,
It's really them top like four: JT, CMC, Eckler, Henry. I don't think anybody's going to judge you at all if you take any of them at like the 102. You know,
right.
Jonathan Taylor at the 101, and then whatever you want to do at the 102 with them, it's just really you know a belief, and if you don't want to play people who've been injured for the last couple of years.
Yeah. So at 6, you have Joe Mixon. I got Joe Mixon at 8. I did have him at 6, but I decided to slide him down a little bit.
You
Uh,
can't have that man at 8. You can't have that man at 8. You got to move him up for sure.
ADP has him at 7.
He finished as the RB4 last year.
Yep, finishes RB4. Had, let's see, this
And the
says
offensive
200.
line got better.
Man, allegedly got better. I gotta see it. That I just think they're gonna be slinging the rock this year. He doesn't really do anything. Let's see. Last year he did have 42 receptions though.
Yeah, he's not going to be the highest reception total guy, but we've seen that. I mean, we've seen it for 3 years, 4 years with him that he's everybody begging to get him involved in the passing game, but they just don't want to do it.
He did it a lot in college. Just haven't done it too much in the NFL. But I mean, I like Joe Mixon. Last year, like you said, he finished fourth. Man, give me some red zone numbers. You got any red zone numbers on Mixon?
I ain't got the red zone numbers right now. I'll get to it. I'll see if I can find it here. But what I do got is he had the third most carries last
Yeah.
year, only behind JT and Mixon. Um, so he
Gun- Gonna be 27
he
this year.
I just like the offensive line, man. I like how they upgraded it, and the offense is getting better. It improved so much last year. I think it's going to be more of the same with him. I don't think they're going to just go to run and gun and throw the crap out of the ball. I think they're going to play like they did last year. It got them to the Super Bowl.
Any concerns that Super Bowl losing teams usually struggle the next season? That you don't think that?
Definitely, definitely.
You think that doesn't go into your ranking of Joe Mixon though, because you still got him pretty high. 6 is pretty legit.
I mean, I just look at everything around them. With the passing game and the offensive line improving, and like I just think he's going to have even bigger holes run through this year. And a lot of people say, "Oh, he can't keep up with the touchdowns he scored last year. It's just not possible." But he can. He can do it again. I mean, I
I
really
don't
do.
know, man. I don't know. Nah, I'm just kidding. He could. I could see it. Like I don't really have a problem. Really, me dropping Joe Mixon to 8 really doesn't have anything to do with him being bad or anything. I just got DeAndre Swift at 6. You got Swift at 8. I think Swift. I mean, I just seen it in the headlines now. Said he's gonna have 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards receiving. He's gonna be the number one overall guy. I do think Swift is capable of having a number one overall type of season. Like Jamal Williams doesn't. I mean, he might get 30% of the carries, but even if he does, oh well. Swift's still gonna go out there and catch a lot of balls. Offense that's on the
Yeah,
rise.
Swift is like the biggest up and comer for me as far as rankings go. I mean, I just think he can do everything. Jamal Williams is not that much of a threat athletically to DeAndre Swift, and he's just game script proof.
Yeah.
So I love having running backs that are going to be in the game when the Lions are losing by 40 in the first quarter. So
Right.
you
So
know,
last year Swift finished 15 in PPR leagues and 20th, finished 18. So with that said, if you are in a league that's standard, first of all, quit that league. Don't be playing in standard leagues. But other than that, you won't take DeAndre Swift as high at a standard league because, and that's not only just Swift, but even guys like Eckler and stuff like that. But yes,
Yeah,
Swift last year he had 62 receptions.
man, you just stealing the hell out of my statistics today. 62 receptions. So yeah, that's higher than Eckler would have. He only played Swift played 13 games, so he was on pace to have more receptions than Eckler. So yeah, that's
Any chance DeAndre Swift could finish number one overall?
mm, yeah, I think he could. I wouldn't bet on it, but I
No.
mean anything can happen with a running back who's gonna rush for over 1,000 and catch, have over 1,000 reception yards. So it just depends if the Lions are any better. Their offensive line isn't bad.
Yeah. I think I seen they was ranked pretty high by Pro Football Focus.
Yeah, they're on up there this year. They were. See if I can find them right quick.
The offense. This is an offense that's on the rise. Jared Goff's still at the helm, but Amon-Ra St. Brown got some pieces. Hawkinson just drafted Williamson or Williams.
Williams.
Name is Williams. I know I always do that with him, but so
Yeah.
yeah, sky's the limit for Swift as far as I can tell.
Oh yeah, they're the third ranked offensive line, which
Woo!
that's kind of crazy when you think about the sucky Lions. But I get I guess they got a good offensive line. Them folks at PFF are a lot smarter than me, so
I don't know about that.
yeah,
They,
I'm pretty smart.
all these experts, man. By the way, don't even listen to these experts, man. Just turn on the Cruise Dynasty podcast, and you get all the information you need right here. At 7, you got Najee Harris.
Yeah,
I've been kind of fading him a little bit. I got him at 9. You got him at 7, and the reason why I'm kind of not on him is last year a lot of his production last year came off a reception from Big Ben, just dumping it off. I know that one game, I think it was like
19.
game, yeah, 19 targets. That's absurd. You're not gonna.
That's stupid. That's not happening again.
It's
It's not
not
happening again.
happening. So last year he finished as the number 3 running back in the league, and I think just the main reason he was just it's a bad O line. I'm not sure if you got the rankings for the O line, but
30th. 30th ranked O
30th.
line.
I mean, think about how bad that is. And then his
And then you got Mitchell Trubisky, Kenny Pickett at quarterback behind the 30th ranked O line. So,
he was very
man,
inefficient running the
that's
ball
not
last
good.
year. So, the inefficiency from running the ball, the Big Ben being gone, uh it just
The volume has got to come down.
got to, you would think.
I got him ranked at 7, but I would not take Najee in the. I probably wouldn't take him in the whole first round, but that's just me. Every draft that I've been in, Najee has gone all the way up at like number 4, 104.
Yeah.
He's gone high. He's gone right at the end. But when you draft Najee in the first round like that, I got him ranked at 7, and he's probably going to finish at 7 to whatever 15. But DeAndre Swift might finish at 3.
Yeah.
Najee's not going to finish at 3 unless there's a bunch of injuries to the top running backs this year. But I
Naj-
don't want him in the first round.
Najee, he's his ADP is 8, which is the 6th running back off the board. That's just a little too high for me. Like you said, I mean, DeAndre Swift's got that upside. I'm definitely taking Swift over Najee right now. And Najee, I mean, he's a bad man. If Pittsburgh was a little more, I mean, they're a button up organization, but if they could fix their O line problems, I mean, I would definitely take Najee. I,
Yeah, their
shoot, I'm
whole offensive outlook would be different. Like all their players, I'd feel higher about if they fix that offensive line. But
Yeah. So
Just
we
can't.
both high on Najee, just not as high on Najee. Number nine, I got no. At number nine, you got Alvin Kamara. I got Alvin Kamara at 7. I think I might would have Kamara a little bit higher if we knew what the hell was going on with this little whatever he did, beating the crap out of somebody in Vegas, and so he could get
Somebody was
suspended.
talking shit at the bar, and he didn't have that. He wasn't having it.
Somebody's calling him a bum, got a few drinks in him, and dude started busting him up. So
Didn't realize it was Alvin Kamara, and he was like, "Oh shit! This
so
man's super quick. His balance is off the charts. Like this man will not fall no matter how hard I hit him. This man is crazy." And he
the
just started beating the shit out of the dude. So, I
yeah,
mean,
so he's looking at a little suspension, and it's all been pushed back. Not gonna be suspended at the beginning of the year, but there's always that possibility of them just popping it up in the middle of the year. I think it's unlikely. I think they'll let him get away with it all the way till the next year and then suspend him. But still, it's a risk. And in redraft leagues, if this dude's gonna be missing 6 to 8 weeks, I don't want him. But nine, nine, I got him a little higher than you do. I feel like it's fair enough.
yeah, I mean, Kamara is just a beast on the field. I mean, this shit is really just a suspension thing. I mean, he had last year had the most rushing attempts in his career with 240 in 13 games compared to 187 rushing attempts in 15 games in 2020. So their backups ain't no better than they were last year. They got Mark Ingram back. He's like 49, coming out there on crutches still.
Yeah.
And Tony Jones, I mean, there's really not much of a threat to Alvin Kamara
No.
this year. Still suspension that we're worried about.
Agreed. So for let's just ask the question. Like if Kamara wasn't, you know, in line for suspension, a possible suspension, would you be willing to move Kamara up some? And if so, how far would you move him up?
Man, if there was no suspension lingering at all, and wouldn't have to think about it all year, it would be very, very close between him and Dalvin Cook for me.
Yeah, I was just debating the same thing. I might would even take him. I would definitely take him over Derrick Henry.
That's pretty close too. I wouldn't blame you if you did, especially full PPR. He's going to catch shoot close to 70 balls like Eckler. He's
Yeah.
always been one of the best receiving running backs in the league. So yeah, if the suspension wasn't there, he'd be going in the first round for sure. If the suspension doesn't come and you draft him in the second, you
Yep.
got to steal. I feel.
League winning material right there. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
At 10, you got Aaron Jones. I got Aaron Jones at 12. We both love Aaron Jones. I think, with Aaron Rodgers coming back, I think Aaron Jones kind of extended his career a little bit, 2 or 3 years. But I feel like he's going to catch the ball so much this year. I mean, I think this Green Bay offense is pretty much going to be let's hand it off to Dylan, let's dump it off to Aaron Jones. I could definitely see Aaron Jones having a top 10 season.
Me too. I feel like Aaron Jones is the discount Najee Harris this year. They both don't with Dylan there, they both don't have they're not going to finish in the top 5.
Yeah.
But that Aaron Jones and Najee, seem very similar to me as far as catching passes. I mean, and the Packers offense have so much better of an offensive line. They're 5th ranked this year.
Yeah.
And, he's probably not going to get the volume like Najee gets, but the efficiency is going to be there, and there's going to be more scoring opportunities for Aaron Jones. So I'm all in getting him as my second running back or as my first if I went receiver in the first, which I don't do because receivers suck and running backs rule.
Yeah, Aaron Jones, his ADP is 17.7, coming off the 12th, running back off the board. He's going behind guys like Saquon Barkley,
Saquon Barley.
oh Barley and Chubb.
Barley and Chubb, yeah.
I can't buy into
Everybody,
that.
main thing everybody wants to know is with Aaron Jones is the splits with Devontae Adams and without. And without Devontae Adams, he's averaging 48.5 reception yards per game. And with Devontae Adams, he's averaging 17.8
Yeah.
reception yards per game. That's an 8 game sample size. I mean, would you think it would be crazy to say that Aaron Jones leads all running backs in receptions this year?
Nah, not this year, man. I definitely think it's possible. If you're getting
Yeah, I
Aaron
do.
Jones, like we said about Kamara, if you're getting Aaron Jones in the second round, I mean, you could win the league just with that too.
Yeah, I'm real high on Aaron Jones. There's not he got a very high floor this year compared to some of the other, even compared to some of the other players we talked about, just because of the work he's going to get in the passing game. And he's still. Are you? Do you think AJ Dillon's going to take over the red zone role completely, or do you
Uh,
think?
I'm not gonna say completely, but I think he definitely gets more of the rushing attempts than Aaron Jones does.
Yeah, I mean, as of last year, Aaron Jones had 34 red zone carries, and AJ Dillon had 41. So AJ Dillon had more, but I don't. I think it's really just going to be who's on the field at the time. If they're trying to, if the drive is Aaron Jones, they're not just going to take him out. If the Packers are rolling down the field and they're running hurry up, they're not just going to be like, oh, we got to stop the game and take Aaron Jones out because he's not a good red zone guy and put in AJ Dillon. I just think it's going to
Yeah.
be whoever's on the field at the time is going to get the touchdown.
Yep. This offense is definitely gonna be centered around these two running backs. There's no doubt about it. All right. So at 11, you got Javante. I got Javante Williams at 10. And Javante's another guy, he's like in a little bit of a split. I'm not buying that Melvin Gordon's going to come in. It's going to be a 50-50 split. I'm sure not buying that this year. I'm thinking we're looking at like a 70-30. Because if Denver really wanted this dude, Melvin Gordon, this dude wouldn't have been looking around in free agency pretty much the whole time and then taking a 1 year deal. So I think we're looking at like I think it's even possible to see like a 75-25, but Javante's another guy like Swift where I could just be like, this dude could finish. I mean, he could have a number. I mean, number one overall is a reach, but I mean, if he finished in the top three, would I be surprised? I definitely wouldn't be.
Yeah, the only way that happens is if that split goes 70-30 with Javante, which would be amazing. I think it's going to be more 60-40 probably. They're going to be playing in super competitive games against great teams, so they're going to probably put Javante out on the field just because he's so damn good. I mean,
Yeah.
Javante is just when you watch the games and watch Javante, he's probably the most elusive running back in the entire league.
Last year he finished 17th in PPR leagues, 903 rushing yards, and 43 receptions. So we're talking about definitely elite running back.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I mean, that was finishing 17 with a terrible offense. Terrible. I mean, just terrible in points per game, and you got Russ coming in, so it's just going to automatically go up anyway. Even with at worst the 50-50 split, he's still going to outperform last year because the offense is going to be so much better. So
yeah,
I just
agreed.
think I just think it's time. It's time for Javante.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better. I
Get
mean,
old
a
Gordon out of there.
terrible offense, terrible quarterbacks, 50-50 split, and you still had the year he put up last year. I mean, Javante to the moon, Javante to the moon. That's how I see it.
Yeah, me too. He had Javante had 63 missed tackles for us last year, and that was second, only behind JT who had 66. But Javante
Yeah,
only had 203 carries.
yeah.
So I mean, this dude is just breaking ankles and just making people look dumb. He's the best, probably the best athlete on the field every time he steps on the field.
So we're both high on some Javante Williams. Go get you some Javante. Let me just look up his ADP. It's criminal. 13. This dude's going behind a lot of players. He's going behind Aaron Jones, Saquon, Alvin. I can understand Alvin, but he's going behind Nick Chubb. I mean, come on, man. What are these people doing? I'll take Javante.
I
His ADP is
yeah, I think
23.6. So we're talking about the back end of the second round is when Javante is going.
you can start your leagues, and I've drafted in 2 leagues already redraft, and the number one spot that drafted, both of them have Jonathan Taylor and then Javante Williams
Whew.
back to back. So you're starting like that's just a perfect. It's a perfect start if you're drafting from the one spot. If he makes it back,
Yep.
and you're getting them two as your first 2 picks, I mean, that's just crazy upside right there. You could just blow people out with that if everything pans out.
So to wrap up our top 12, we have one. I ain't gonna say it's a major difference. Well, yeah, it's a major difference, and because
It,
at
you,
11 I got Travis Etienne, and at 12 you got old Saint Nick Chubb, and
you're gonna get some hate for that one for sure because that shit's outrageous.
and look, and for all those haters out there that are gonna hate on me for having ETN in the top 12, I don't give a damn. So I almost look at this list and I almost say, dang, I ain't got him high enough. ETN's another guy where I'm like, dang, this dude could finish in the top 3. We're talking about an elite athlete, going to be getting all these receptions, catching them from the GOAT, who he played with in college. James Robinson is not going to be a fully healthy. You know, dude's coming off an Achilles tear. Like this dude, it's gonna take a couple years for you to get back to what you want to be. So ETN, if the haters are out there, oh well, first round running back. This is pretty much his rookie year. What you got to say
Yeah,
about
I mean,
that?
he's got, I gotta have a lot to say about it, but it's tough for me to get there with ETN. I mean, he's been somebody that I targeted. Like you can get him in the 4th round. You got him ranked like right there at Javante. So in order to get him like where you want him, you would. I mean, you would probably wait and play the ADP game, but that's right there after Javante in the second. So like, I'm not. There's no way I'm drafting ETN that high. Even
Look,
no.
crap, man. Look, ETN, his ADP is 40.4, and he's the 20th running back off the board, right? This dude's going behind Brees Hall, David Montgomery, Cam Akers, James Conner, Ezekiel Elliott. Like, this is a travesty, just being honest. You're telling me you'll take Ezekiel Elliott over ETN?
Probably, yeah. I don't even. I hate Zeke too, boy. I can't do it. But like
All
the
right,
only
well,
reason I take ETN over Ezekiel Elliott is just because of my hate for Ezekiel Elliott,
what
not
about
because finish higher.
Cam Akers? You're telling me ETN
No,
should be going
no.
ahead of Cam Akers?
He should definitely don't draft Cam Akers this year where he's going. Everybody, don't
Man,
just don't do it.
before we even go on, I just want to emphasize this: do not go draft Cam Akers, man. I don't know what the hell, where his hype came from. This dude hasn't done nothing. Cam Akers, I've already done. I got like my top 24 sitting in front of my face. This dude's definitely not in my top 24.
I would put him. I'd probably put him in my top 24 just based on not because I think he's gonna have a great year, but there's probably other running backs that I don't like quite as much. But I mean, just because he's a product of a good offense, that's the only reason he's up there. But draft Darrell Henderson in the 13th round.
Yeah.
They're probably gonna split 50-50. Even Sean McVay said that his it's not exact quotes, but pretty close was we have 2 number 1 running backs on our team. This is what he said. That doesn't sound to me like Cam Akers is going to get the load.
Yep, I agree. So, like I said, I got ETN at 11. Kind of controversial, but at 12, the Craft Man's got Nick Chubb, and I got Nick Chubb at 15. I like Nick Chubb. I think Nick Chubb, if this dude was on an offense that was committed to handing him the rock like Tennessee is with Derrick Henry, this dude Nick Chubb could definitely be a top 5 running back in my opinion. But there's no really Receiving, there's not really a receiving
There's not much to
upside.
say about
I,
it.
I will say this though about Nick Chubb. I do think with Deshaun Watson being gone, this is like the only Nick Chubb's like the only player I feel like is not going to be affected by Deshaun Watson being gone for 11 games. He's still going to run the ball. He's still going to get goal line carries. Kareem Hunt is a bum. Might get traded before the season even starts.
He's trying to get the hell out of there. I would be trying to get the hell out of Cleveland too if I was him. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll go to the Jets before I play for the Browns. But Nick Chubb, there ain't a whole lot to say about Nick Chubb. I mean, we've seen it. He's probably behind Derrick Henry as the best pure rusher in the league. I mean, the talent is crazy. The offensive line is great. They're the second ranked offensive line in football, which they need because Jacoby Brissett's back there. So, I mean, he's just going to be solid. He's not somebody that I've been drafting like early second round just because there's higher up. Like Nick Chubb in regular drafts is going before Javante. So
Yeah.
there's just no way that I've been able to get him.
Nick Chubb is his ADP is 15.8. He's the ninth running back off the board. This dude's going ahead of guys like Kamara, Saquon, Aaron Jones, Javante, Leonard Fournette. I mean, I could definitely put him ahead of a couple of these guys, but I'm definitely taking Aaron Jones over Chubb. Definitely taking Javante over Chubb. But I like Chubb. 9 just seems a little too steep for my likings.
Yeah, I totally agree with that one. He's just in that range where I just feel like he's probably going to finish in like about 15ish, 10 to 15ish. And, you can get Stephon Diggs instead of Nick Chubb. You could get like all them running backs that we just mentioned with the crazy upside ahead of Nick Chubb. So I can't get him on my team unless he just
Yeah.
drops in drafts.
Well, shoot, man, that wraps up our top 12 running backs. Probably we're going to do a 13 through 24 here soon, and then we'll drop some sleepers out there for everybody because I know I got a few sleepers I want to throw out there.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them little guys down there that I like outside of the top 24 running back wise that have crazy upside, and I'm going to try not to do the obvious if this dude gets injured because like Alexander Madison type stuff because everybody
Yeah.
knows that. But get some good information for y'all about sleepers and hit up these running backs tomorrow,
Yep.
and let's just keep these running backs rolling, Matt.
Just
I got a fever, Matt.
yeah, man. Hey, man, I'm with you, man. Be on the lookout. We dropping episodes. We've been dropping them every other day. Might just start dropping them every day for y'all. We keeping the content rolling. We like talking the fake stuff. Crap, you got anything to say to the people before we head out?
Draft running backs early, draft wide receivers late.
Man, I second that, third it. I agree with that 100%, especially this year. It doesn't work out every year, but this year, go get you them running backs and start picking off them wide receivers in the third, fourth, and fifth round. That's how I see it.
Oh yeah, I mean one thing from experience, my cousin Ian, he's played in a very competitive league with us for the last 2 years. He's always the running back guy, always
Man,
has drafts 5 of them in 7 rounds, and he won the championship last year. He was in the championship the year before, so
it definitely works out. I don't know. I don't have it off the top of my head, but I'm about pretty sure that man went running back in the first 4 rounds. It might have been just three, but I want to say it was the first 4 rounds. But yeah,
yeah, it was pretty good.
so yeah, go get you some running backs. So yeah, that about wraps it up. Thanks for listening to the podcast. If y'all don't mind, add the podcast. Hit that little add button. If you're on Spotify, hit you a little subscribe or whatever that is on there. But add it, subscribe it, give us a 5-star review now. And if anything 4 and below is just unacceptable, that's how I see it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
go,
can't be 4 and below. Just can't do
but
it.
go ahead and put in the comments that we're some bums. Tell us where we're wrong, or you can just praise our ass because this is some good this is some good information we out here giving to these people. But Check out the other podcasts within the company. Got my brother. For all the religious folks out there, he's dropping some dropping that Heaven to Earth podcast. Check out the Poor Man P. Miller on the Poor Man's Politics. Just stirring it up. We got MLB coming soon with Big Mike swinging for the fences. And then we got the Pigskin Professors coming soon, talking college football. We're going to talk some real football, not the fake stuff on this one.
But there ain't no fantasy in college, so you got to just talk about the real. You got to talk about the real stuff until we can gamble on it. So
got to. So add me on Twitter at Crew Matt Hamm. Add the podcast, the Cruise Dynasty Podcast. We are out.
Peace.